感谢 Bubs 澳洲特邀马克西姆澳新巡演人物专访时间，我是林子欣，我是一名钢琴家，也是4个孩子的妈妈。在音乐的道路上，我和马克西姆先生一起并肩作战。在养育4个孩子的日子里，感谢有这个澳洲母婴品牌的一路相伴。Bubs Growing Generation Joy。今天就让我们有请我们的主角马克西姆先生和大家 say hello。Hi
guys。Hello
Maksim。众所周知，这次马克西姆先生的王者归来澳新巡演是后疫情时代的开门之作。在我们亲临现场听 live concert 之前，让我们一起和马克西姆先生聊聊属于他的故事。All right, Maksim, we have some questions for you. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. So the first one is, when you were young and around 9-year-old, what's the reason for you to start piano, this instrument?
I don't know. I mean, as soon as I started to play piano, I just decided to be a concert pianist and to be a professional musician. My friend had a piano at his home, and I was very interested in this instrument, so I was pretending to be a concert pianist, and then eventually I just pushed my mom to enroll me in music school.
So it's quite a clear vision for your mom?
It was very clear vision, which was quite surprising because no one from my family nor any of my friends, ever dealt with classical music. They never even listened to classical music, and I come from the small coastal town of Croatia, which is like 40,000 people, 35, which you don't have many, opportunity to see and interact with classical music. But as soon as I started, I immediately knew, this is my destiny.
Maybe you were born with it.
I
think so.
Exactly was born with
very straight.
Knowing that I'm going to be a pianist.
Wow, that's amazing answer. As a very high-profile international pianist, when you were young, what's your practice routine? Can you share with us? Like, how do you practice every day?
When I was young, I must be honest, I didn't like to practice like many of, the kids of very young age. I always preferred to play with my friends or football or whatever in the streets. But afterwards, I developed systems of practicing. There are so many ways to make practicing interesting, so many different techniques, you need to always change the systems of practicing just to make it more interesting and to, intrigue your brain a little bit more to work, when you change these systems of practicing all the time.
Are you more self-monitored, or you think your parents give you reinforcement?
I was
or your teacher,
I was pushing myself. My teacher, of course, was a motivation. Only a couple of times when I have crisis, I remember my mom, saying, you need to practice, come on, you are lazy, you need to move. That's it. But basically, I was the one who,
self-monitored.
Yeah, I was the one
self-driven, motivated. No wonder who you are.
Yeah, because my goal, my example was different, So many of young kids are being pushed by their parents, to play piano. With me, it's a different thing. I pushed my mother, for days, please enroll me in music school. So she eventually did. I guess
that's the difference.
It's a difference. It came from me and my wish to play piano.
You're the one who took the initiative.
Yes.
Exactly. So, like what we knew about your background, when you did go through the war, right? Did it change or stop your musical dream? Obviously, I know the answer must be no, but how do you go through that?
I mean, war was quite a long period of time. It's like almost 3.5 years. So at the beginning of the war, it was so dangerous. We spent it many times in basements, in the shelters. So obviously, I physically couldn't play. But eventually, you get used to it, So, human being can get used to most horrendous situations. So basically, we functioned kind of normally in situations of war. So I continued to practice, and I continued to, to have lessons with my teacher, even in basements. But we still continued. So I think it made me just like as a even more stronger person, because we always say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So if the war didn't kill me, then definitely made me stronger and more persistent to be a concert pianist.
I completely understand that. Piano, music, and art. How do you see these items in your life?
I mean, I always say that I consider myself an extremely lucky person, because the work, it's unusual word to describe what I do. For me, it's not, work. It's dealing with beautiful art. Is something which was interacted in my life since I was a child, and to be able and to be in position where every morning I wake up, and I perform these pieces which are written by some of the most genius, personalities in the history of humankind, is so rewarding, and to interact with the audiences every time, it's always a different experience, Every piece I play, it's a different interpretation because of the audience, because of the situations where I am. So it's never boring, and it's really a bless, to be able to do what I do.
Do what you love as well,
Yeah.
is it? Great. Compare with traditional pianist. I guess the definition of traditional is classical trained pianist. You have a very unique style and personality. So is your lifestyle similar to your stage performance, how you look?
Probably yes. I would say I have lifestyle more of someone who deals with pop or rock music rather than classical,
Yeah.
My performances on stage also look more like a pop concert because I involved a lot of lights, and obviously I play with the band most of the times. So the music is like a pop music, and I think I live a life of a pop artist rather than the classical one.
So do you think it's more fun?
Definitely more fun, but mind you, I never stopped playing classical music, and I still practice classical music.
I heard it today.
I am trained concert pianist, of course. I have finished different colleges and spend a lot of time working on my performances and my knowledge.
Yeah.
So I still have this love towards classical music. I think it will never go away, despite the fact that I'm doing a lot of crossover music.
Yeah, I just feel like because you can do more things than just one thing, which is more inspiring.
Yes, I love to explore. That was the reason why I entered the world of crossover music, because I was so curious all the time. First of all, curious with the presentation of classical music. I wanted to make it more adjustable for 21st century and for younger generations. And then eventually I ended up doing crossover music, changing everything, completely music from the root.
Great. Okay, so during this preparation of our Oceanic tour, there were many young musicians. They participate in the campaigns of playing your songs, such as the Croatian Rhapsody. We have discussed that. So do you have any advice to pass on to the next generation? Younger ones, such as harmony, 6 or 7?
As a classical musician, I'm very, very happy to see that there is so much interest between young generation towards classical music, and especially the piano, my instrument. I think it's very important for us to intrigue younger generations with the classical music, because they are the ones who will continue the tradition of classical music. Otherwise, it's going to be lost. So, and especially among Chinese kids, there's so much interest, especially towards piano, not violin, right? So many young people are playing piano, and I am very privileged to find out that sometimes my pieces are the pieces they play,
the popular hits,
so they start to love instrument through my pieces, and they start playing my pieces, and I, as a musician, it's very rewarding for myself.
Yeah, because when I first knew you, I knew that song first.
Yeah.
Then I figured out who played it. So
so that's why people want to start playing piano sometimes, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a pop song,
is
it? In the piano industry. Great. Now, as we know, you do have a daughter, right? And do you have any expectations musically for your daughter, or you just, as a father, you just want her to, achieve what she wants to achieve? What sort of parenting?
I never pushed her to be a musician. I don't know. She was dwelling with classical ballet, the dance, for 7-8 years, and then she stopped it. So she has different directions now. She is not involved in music. She loves music. She loves listening to my concerts, but she's not involved in music.
So she has her options and her own life.
Of course, yeah. That's up to her to decide. I never pushed her, in music. Everything was open for her. She chose ballet. My ex-wife, she was a ballet dancer. So maybe she picked it up. Not professional, but through all her childhood, she was involved with ballet.
But do you think you inspire her in some way? I think maybe, for your daughter.
Yeah.
inspired her?
I mean, inspire, I would like to inspire in the sense that, for every job that you want to be, and if you want to be really good and really high class, you need to work really hard,
Yeah.
And that's it, no matter what you do, no matter what she chooses, there's always hard work, There's
Just
no
like how you
skipping
practice.
steps,
Yeah, there's
to success or fame, We live in a generation where, unfortunately, young people, just want fame and success
fast
without,
track.
because
Is
of
that
the
the word?
Instagram
Yeah.
and all these social media, which in my case it doesn't happen like that. To the way to success and to fame, it's much longer.
Coming from a music background, I think we have no fast track. We
Definitely,
can't- like, we
especially in classical music, there's
we,
no
we
fast
can't
track.
skip any practice.
Yes, it's long
Yeah.
hours and days and
Yeah.
years of practicing.
Yeah. Okay, great. When is the best time for parents and young family to introduce the music to their child, do you reckon?
I don't know. I mean,
generation to
I started
generation.
when I was 9, which is a little bit quite late, but
Yeah.
because I was quite skillful, I was jumping the classes, so skipping the classes. Yeah, I would say maybe 6. I'm not a big fan of forcing
very
your
young,
kids
yeah.
when they are super young. Even when they start, I don't like the idea of parents pushing them to practice too much, because I believe that psychologically, child needs to have a space to develop, through playing. And many psychologists, talk about this, and it's very much proven. Just to develop, mentally, for the kids, to have space to play, to be interactive with other kids, So not a big fan of pushing small children to play.
When
too
I
much.
was young, I was born in China, yeah, obviously. My mom and my dad have saying that if you wanted to be good, you have to start very young. You might have heard about that. And now I have my own children. I noticed one thing. No matter how much you push it, it won't happen. I think it's a natural thing, is it?
Of course, I mean, and if it comes from the wishes of parents and not the child, and child hates it, I don't see the point, because this is the art. It's not like something which, it's not like a skill. This is art. Either you have it or not. You can't teach talent, If you are born with talent, that's it. You can't. I mean, among high professional class, I can immediately see if someone is talented or not, and you can't learn talent, so there's no point of torturing kids, and
Absolutely, very good point.
Yeah.
Especially during Father's Day, we can share that. Great. Okay, the next question really matches with what we just talked about. For pianists, there are people that are really talented, and there are people that are hardworking type. Which one do you prefer?
Both. I mean, in the world of professional concert pianists, there's no space of pianists lacking either of these qualities, So you have to be born with talent. You have to be born with a very strong perception of visualization of your interpretation. Your ideas of how your music should sound, and your sound, physical sound. Plus, on top of that, it comes extremely hard work, because the level of professionalism on these top levels are so high. So,
And I feel like there's no limit, is it? You have to challenge yourself every day.
Of course. And with new pieces and with, everything needs to be absolutely perfect on top of amazing and creative and different interpretation.
Such as your bumblebee. Okay, how do you balance your role between a pianist and a father?
Well, my daughter and I are very, very connected, we are like friends, and my job is quite specific, when I work a lot, I'm on tour maybe 6-7 months a year. So basically this is something which we are used to, because, I've been doing this all my life, and, when my daughter was born, I didn't do the tours which are more longer than 1 month, so I didn't want to be separate from. But now, I sometimes go for 2 months, 2.5 months,
And she's used to it.
We are used to it, But when I come back, we are always together. We are always like every hour. We are always spending time together.
Quality time.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So let's get back to the tour. All right. Are you looking forward to it? Because tomorrow we're going to start our first tour. Which city is the one that you're most looking forward to go?
I don't know, all of them. I had a big interval now, like many of the people, because my profession was badly hit by COVID situation. You know, like concerts were not even close to what it was before. So I'm very excited now, finally, to be back on stage and to see fans. And I think hopefully fans, missed me as much as I missed the audience. So I can't wait, actually.
Yeah, I can't wait either. 感谢 Babs 奥星乳业专家的独家邀约，给我们这个机会，将马克西姆先生的故事告诉更多的家庭。作为一名父亲和世界著名跨界钢琴家，他是我们值得看齐的标杆人物。期待与你在音乐会现场不见不散。For this tour, we're going to start from Gold Coast, which is on the 1st of September. And the second stop is in Brisbane. It's on the 2nd of September, which is a Friday. And the third stop is in Auckland. It's on the 4th of September. It's on a Sunday. Followed by the Perth. We're having the 7th of September, and Melbourne on the 9th, and Sydney on the 11th of September. And I'm sure Maksim will see you guys at the concert. See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Looking forward to see you.